Most men think she sees them, that her love is for who they are. But Jung showed us the darker truth. Many times she does not see you at all. She sees a fantasy, a projection of the man she hopes you are, the man she needs you to be. This is the Anima projection, a force deep in the unconscious. The woman believes she loves the man, but what she loves is her own inner image of the masculine, cast onto him like a shadow on a wall. And here's the trap. The man, hungry for love, accepts this role. He begins to play the part. He shapes himself not to match his truth, but to match her dream. The more he does this, the more he loses himself. Jung warned, the possession of an image of the opposite sex always brings about a related projection. What she sees, she invents, and what you become, you abandon. The fantasy woman is powerful because she lives not in the real world, but in your mind, in her mind, in the space between. She offers not love, but a mirror for her hopes, her fears, her needs. The question is, when you live in her dream, what part of you sleeps? As long as a man does not know himself, he sees only his own shadow in others. A man steps into the fantasy not because he is weak, but because he longs to be seen. When a woman projects, she offers him the illusion of being understood, admired, even idealized. It feels like love, but it's a mirror reflecting back what she hopes to see. And he plays the role. He becomes the strong protector, the sensitive soul, the dangerous rebel, whatever mask she imagines. In doing so, he trades his truth for her approval. The danger is not in being loved, but in being loved for something you are not. Jung saw this trap clearly. The man who lives as her projection loses the ability to see himself. The more he bends to fit the image, the further he drifts from his own center. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. It's easier to live as the fantasy, to keep playing the part, to avoid the painful task of confronting who you really are beneath the masks. But every role played for love is a chain, and the more chains you wear, the heavier you become. The question is, how long can you wear a mask before you forget what your face looks like? If a man's anima possesses him, he becomes feminized, weak, and loses himself in relationships. When a man lives inside the fantasy she casts, he pays a price far greater than he realizes. At first, it feels like love, attention, admiration, but soon the weight of the mask grows heavy. He starts to feel hollow, disconnected, adrift. He is no longer living as himself. He is living as an idea, her idea, and worse, he begins to believe that idea. The man who forgets his truth becomes a stranger to his own soul. This is the slow erosion of masculine power, not the strength of the body, but the strength of self, the power to choose, to act from one's own will, to stand alone. It fades as he bends further into the fantasy. Jung warned, the man who identifies with his anima becomes the victim of his own inner woman. He becomes sensitive where he should be strong. He doubts where he should decide. He seeks approval where he should seek purpose. And the tragedy? He thinks he's loved. But he is loved for the role, not for the man. The question is, can a man regain his strength if he no longer knows what it feels like? People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. If the fantasy is a spell, then breaking it feels like death. Why? Because the man who lives in her projection clings to it as if it is his only identity. Without it, he fears he is nothing. He has worn the mask so long, he believes it is his face. To shatter the illusion means to face the void, to stand in front of the mirror and see not what she wanted, but what is really there, raw, flawed, unfinished. That takes courage. And most men, Jung warned, fear that moment more than they fear a lifetime of lies. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. The man avoids the break because the mask offers safety. The fantasy offers comfort. But it is a comfort that rots the soul. The longer he waits, the harder it is to remember who he was before the role. And yet, the truth remains. No man can claim his strength while living in another's dream. The question is, what would it feel like to stand unmasked, unapproved, and free? Individuation means becoming an individual, and insofar as individuality embraces our innermost, last, and incomparable uniqueness, it also implies becoming one's own self. Individuation is not a concept, it is a battle. A man begins this journey the moment he dares to ask, "Who am I beneath the masks?" It is the painful, honest, and freeing work of reclaiming what was given away, the self lost in projections, roles, and expectations. The man who chooses individuation stops seeking to be the hero in her story. He becomes the hero of his own. This is not selfishness. It is the only path to truth. Because a man cannot give love if he does not first possess himself. Jung taught that individuation is the integration of the shadow, the parts of us we fear, deny, or hate. The man who integrates his shadow no longer needs approval. He no longer craves the fantasy. He sees the woman not as a dream, but as a human. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Individuation is the path back to power. It is the end of the mask and the beginning of the man. The question is, what does it take to stand in that power, untouchable by fantasy? He who looks outside dreams. He who looks inside awakes. The man who completes the journey of individuation is no longer a puppet of projections, hers or his own. He no longer lives to be seen, approved, or desired. He lives to be true. And in this truth, he becomes untouchable. Such a man doesn't play roles to win love. He doesn't chase illusions or cling to fantasies. His power comes not from how others see him, but from how clearly he sees himself. And paradoxically, that is when people feel his presence most. That is when respect flows freely, because it is no longer asked for. Jung knew, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The man she can't control is not cold. He is not cruel. He is free. Free to love without losing himself. Free to walk away without hate. Free to stand alone without fear. And this freedom terrifies and fascinates, because the world is used to men who need. A man who doesn't changes everything. So the question is, do you want to be loved for the role you play, or respected for the man you are?